Fuck.
What's going on, moms and dads? You are listening to the latest episode of the Fade You podcast. Today we are talking NFL Week 3, and today is Wednesday, September 20th, a special day here at Fade You. Get to that in a second. Matt here with Chris Duke and Kmart. Joe, no Joe today. I don't know. Joe might be in another city. Maybe he'll just randomly show up like he did last week in Reno. We hope so. We hope to have all the dads. But first of all, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Fade You Sports. We got the pod. Subscribe to the pod. We got the YouTube channel. Give us a like on the YouTube videos. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And most importantly, today is Kmart's birthday. So we're here to celebrate our birthday boy, Kmart. Cheers to that.
Oh,
there we go. We're going to do a
wow.
little birthday S for Kmart.
Wow.
Cheers, Kmart. Happy birthday, buddy.
I wish I got the memo so I could take a shot too. I'm just a freaking loser over here.
I thought I said it. I thought I said birthday S.
There's always.
I was on the phone. Like I didn't get. I just didn't understand. But trust me, I took enough shots Friday night at the rehearsal dinner. I was drunk until about noon Eastern on Saturday, and then I had to take a nap with my daughter just so I wasn't dead for the wedding.
Well, it's Kmart's birthday. Chris joked happy 40th. He's not quite 40, but Kmart, I know that you are unable to grow chest hair, but do you have any gray hairs yet?
Shockingly, no. Like, no, I mean, no chest hair. I think I got like 3 little strands. But no, not really any gray hair. It's thinner than it was, 20 years ago, but still holding up pretty good. I mean, still got a 4-head. It's not a 5-head yet, so feeling pretty good.
Do you feel older and wiser today?
Hairline's not too bad. Like, no, I don't think I can get any wiser. I think I'm just dumb and just gonna stay.
That's the name of the pod. I don't think I could get any wiser.
Well, Kmart's going to bring the wisdom to the pod.
My wife just brought me a shot, so.
Oh, there you go. Take your birthday shot. Happy birthday, Kmart.
But what did you guys take a shot of?
Tito's.
Tito's. This is Belvedere, and for whatever reason, we got it from Costco, and it tastes like shit. Usually this stuff tastes like water, but it legit tastes like hand sanitizer. So bear with me here.
All right, well, cheers, buddy. Well, Kmart takes his birthday shot. Chris Duke, where the fuck are you? You at the airport right now?
Yeah, the John Wayne Airport is directly south of me. I'm wearing my glasses because you got your CU hat on. I mean, your shirt on. Dion, is always wearing his shades.
Ooh.
Mantled in Eugene this weekend, but I'm just it's called Dirty Nellies. Irish. Got some Guinness, got some Harp Lager.
I want to be cool like Dion.
Well, scoot a little closer, Chris. Get a little closer to your mic. So, all right, here's the plan for today. We'll preview NFL Week 3. We'll recap where everybody's at in the contest and with picks. Kmart, in his wisdom, J Buff just took a shot for you, Kmart. So we love
Thanks,
that.
J Buff.
That's fucking awesome. All right.
When you say shot of Big Blue, like, was that Daniel Jones's cum or?
I don't know.
One shot, and apparently I'm already drunk. My apologies.
Anyways, Week 3 preview today. We should make everyone aware of everything else we have going on. So Joe Ham, our Joe, and Joey Cheese, both our Joes, they debuted their show Ham and Cheese yesterday. So find that. Everything is on Twitter at Fade You Sports. So they had their first show yesterday, first of many, hopefully. And we love that. And then the 4 Idiots are you're doing your college preview on Friday this week?
I think we're going to do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Chris has something to do on Friday. We're just trying to get the timing right. Chase is actually in Vegas. He's at a convention for work, so he can't really do it any earlier than 5. So we're trying to figure out the right timing tomorrow that's going to work for all the dads. Because even though it's for idiots, it doesn't have to be for, like, it's kind of for the idiots, but we're all idiots, so it just makes the pun a little more fun when there's 4 of us.
Well, when we get everybody together, we'll tweet out when that's happening. And then Sunday nights, either before Sunday Night Football, depending on how much time there is before the game starts, or at halftime, we're recapping these Sunday games. And then on Thursdays, right before Thursday Night Football starts, so right about 5 o'clock Pacific time, we'll get on Spaces. We'll talk about Thursday Night Football. I know I'm very interested in tomorrow's game between the Giants and the Niners, and I've got a couple things that I'd like to share. So the Spaces tomorrow on Twitter, 15 minutes, 20 minutes before that game starts. Check us out there. Everything you need is on Twitter at FadeU Sports. So, all right, guys, let's get into week 3. And interesting slate in that we have a lot of really big spreads. Thoughts on Saints and Vegas. Okay, we'll touch on those. A lot of big spreads this week. We got a couple of winless teams playing each other this week. We've got a bunch of like 2-0 teams, 2-0 ATS teams, 0-2 teams. So I want to start with what I'm going to call a Fade U 101. Now here's a little lesson for everybody. And Chris, I gotta find my everything that we talked about, because this is almost as close as a snap call as you can get. So trying to find Chris and I's text on Monday. I asked Chris, how hard will your cock get if Broncos ends up at 5.5? And Chris, you had a great comment. You want to talk about why you love 5.5 so much? Share that with the listeners.
Yeah, it's funny that everybody calls it a dead number, which it has only landed once this year, but there's only been 2 weeks, so it's not completely dead. It's got a little life, and it actually happened a bit more than you would think last year too. So it's just 6. Everyone says 6 is a key number. So if the Vegas is hanging 5, they know that you're not getting that key number of 6. So if it goes to overtime and someone scores, you're not pushing. Landed 6 last Thursday night with Vikings and Eagles. A lot of games land 6, and then they know that it's so easy to tease it through that 0. Everyone's going to put it in the parlay. You don't have to lay as much juice if it was a touchdown favorite. It's just a very obscure number in NFL, and I think a lot of people are afraid. They're like, I don't want it. It's not 6. It's not 6.5. I want 7. I want to get the full touch with the extra point. So it scares people off. But I love it. It's covered a lot, Matt. I think we texted probably was like 70% last year in the contest. We used to always say, there's that +5 again. So, and it's off to a good start this year. We'll see.
Dude, that breakdown was beautiful.
Yeah, any dogs, I've started tracking this myself because I definitely want to remember this for early season next year. Road dogs so far, +3 to +7, including 3 and 7. So everything in between. 10-1-1 against the spread so far. I think 8 of those are outright wins. So that has been the sweet spot so far. Denver's probably going to be +6.5, +6. If Chris gets his wish, 5.5. The Broncos stock could not be any lower right now. 0-2 as a 3.5-point home favorite this season. So much for that mile high advantage in September, right? 0-2 straight up, 0-2 ATS. Now their first road game in hot, humid Miami. The Dolphins, look, I was on the Dolphins last week, and everybody said I'm so fucking square.
Thank you,
and I didn't
Matt.
care.
I followed you on that with your points I saw on Twitter before I got on my little flight. So thank you for that easy money.
So I'm a big believer in the Dolphins. I think they're legit this year. They're 2-0 straight up. They win at Chargers. They win at New England. 2-0 ATS, 2-0 straight up. First home game in Florida where there's the humidity advantage, whatever. Not a soul is going to be on the Broncos this week. They're dead, according to the entire world, right? So you have every weather narrative. You have they're dead. They can't hold a second half lead. Defense looks like shit, is what Chris told me. Every teaser, Miami. Every parlay, Miami. This is when you get on Denver.
Money line.
Broncos country. Let's fucking ride. Denver snap call pick 101.
Donkeys.
Let's go.
But no, like, but
yeah,
like,
I like the gift.
I mean, the one thing I want to say to this though is you have two teams here where they do have a home field advantage in September. We're very aware of the Broncos in the first early weeks, and obviously South Florida and their humidity. Been there. Never bothered me until this past time I was there a couple months ago. I was like, oh, I see what they mean. This is kind of annoying. But I think what would be a fun argument is the humidity factor versus the altitude factor. Like for me personally, I would much rather play in humidity, even though the fourth quarter I'll probably die, over dry weather. Like to me, dryness, like it doesn't matter how good of shape you're in, but like you're just like you just can't breathe. You're choking. Humidity, I mean, there's water in the air, so it just kind of keeps you hydrated. As weird as that sounds, like I'm a weirdo. I've ran all my life, but like these are literally things that have happened to me. So I don't know if the Donkeys going to Miami is going to be, that big of a factor. I would look for the fourth quarter, like a live play, but I expect Wilson and company to be in this game. Like I don't even know what happened. They're up 21-3. I'm looking at my bet like, yes, I'm glad I booked this. Get on the plane. It's 21-14. Watching it on the plane, and I'm like, wish I could X. What is it now? X tweet? I don't fucking know, but I'm just like, wow, this is pathetic. Oh my God. And then I was the guy getting excited on the plane when they got that Hail Mary, and then of course false hope.
Yeah, Washington took over the game. Denver couldn't have looked any worse this season so far. I mean, it's funny. Russell Wilson at times has looked okay, and then at other times, specifically in the second halves, has looked lost. Chris, you want to add anything onto this? Why is Denver a snap call auto play for you?
Yeah, that's crazy. We need a book that I think there's a book that if they go up 17, they pay your bet. So Denver was up, we could have just cashed it and not worried about it, right? But no, it's inflated, like you said, Matt. I mean, this should probably be closer to 4 or something like that. Even if like Miami might have lost, on Monday night, or if they. But I mean, we're forgetting. I mean, the Chargers just ate up that defense, and I mean, if Mac Jones doesn't throw those picks, and then that guy fumbled in the red zone too. I mean, the Patriots could have easily beat him. I'm not completely sold. I mean, I do agree with you. I think that Miami's a legit team, but I just think that Denver can move the ball, and they're going to be in this game.
Denver may not win, but all we want is for them to lose with, what is it, Chris?
Dignity, class.
That's it. Just bow out gracefully, lose with dignity. That's all we're looking for. So we texted about this in our group the other day. We really liked Denver collectively. I'm going to try to get it in my contest. It's tough when you're sharing it with 3 other people, but I will for sure be on Denver myself. Hey, they even expressed a little interest. I mean, Dolphins stock all-time high right now. Tua's the MVP favorite, so it's just one you simply have to be on. So we will all be on Denver, so hop on board the Broncos with us, the team that nobody wants. So with that, we wanted to make sure we started with that one first. Kmart, your picks have been pretty good so far. Other than the Bengals letting you and me and a lot of people down last week, it's been very, very strong for you at the gate. Do you have one that you would like to share with us right off the bat, birthday boy?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I have booked 2 bets so far. So I got Buff wanted some thoughts on the Saints in Vegas, so I'll give one of them now. I did take Raiders at Pick'em, and that line's now gone up to -2.5. And it's just more of Raiders lost 38-10 in Buffalo, got out 7-0, outscored 38-3. And I just don't expect them to keep playing, that bad. They somehow beat Denver 17-16 in week 1. We know Jimmy G, he's going to win. I think in San Francisco is like 65%, something like that. Everybody remembers Monday night. It just happened. Pittsburgh had to get 2 defensive scores to win that game. Like I'm literally about to just throw in the flag. Like I'm texting Chase and I'm like, "Fuck, dude, sorry." And then Watt strip sack fumble touchdown, and like I know I know I wrote my dissertation on Pittsburgh, but they don't look very good on either side of the ball right now, apart from TJ. Um, they still gave up 450 yards to Deshaun Watson, and he had his own issues, which is probably why they lost. And Pittsburgh only 250. So, I mean, we can talk on my other play, after, but I really like the Raiders. I mean, at home, it's going to be Pittsburgh's first road game. They've been at home for 2 weeks, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think it's a little RLM. Line. It seems like there's a lot of bets on the opposite side, but yet the line went from +1 to -2.5.
Yeah, I like it. Pittsburgh's offense looks broken. Does that get fixed against the Raiders? I mean, maybe a little bit. I think they've really missed Deontay Johnson. Some of the other receivers that are unproven outside of Pickens. The Raiders they could not run the ball at all against Buffalo's D-line. And I know Pittsburgh's got a good D, but Cam Hayward being out hurts. And Minka Fitzpatrick may be out, so they're missing a couple guys on their defense. And goddamn, that Steelers-Browns game was a street fight. That was physical, tough. That is about as AFC North as it gets. Traveling on a short week does not seem ideal. So I'm with you, Kmart. I think Raiders. And I think the question is, as long as, do you just continue? Would you still recommend Raiders as long as it's under 3?
Dude, there's already been 4 games landed on 1. Who the hell knows? Like,
I know.
Like, honestly, I don't know. But yeah, probably. Like, I mean, generally when I like a team at pick'em, I'm gonna like them at -1, -2, -2.5. I'm gonna, expect them to win on a key number of 3 or 4. So yeah, I'd still recommend it. But I mean, it's just, to me, it's the head scratcher. It's like, these CLVs haven't really done well for me in past contests, bets, line flips, even if it was -1, +1 to -1, it's not a good trend to be on. Whether it's college basketball, NCAA football, NFL, it's not a good trend. But the one thing I'm holding on hope for is it does look like it's RLM for a change, where the other one, it just seems to be heavy bet. So it just obviously had the flip.
Chris, are you in agreement with this one? I mean, the three of us were all on Pittsburgh on Monday night. Are you ready to sell them in this spot here?
Yeah, kind of. I know we talk about Tomlin as a dog. I feel like it's a little bit different when he's at home against the Brownies, who they've owned forever, especially on Monday night. I do like the RLM. I think I know sharps hit it, but we saw it with Falcons last week. They were sharp. Majority of bets on the Packers ends up like -2.5, 3.
Could have won both sides of it.
Falcons win by 1. So I mean, it's the same situation. So, but I mean, if there's a time to get Jacobs right and get running, it's on that fucking Steelers D, because they suck ass against the run. Look at what Chubb and Ford did to them. So I mean, we'll see.
All right, so Raiders is looking good. That's Sunday Night Football. That's gonna be a fun one to look forward to for sure. I'm sure there'll be some terrible towels there in Vegas, but it is the home opener for the Raiders. So Jimmy G's first home game. Hey, you know the offers that were out there for Jimmy G in Las Vegas, right? The brothels, the strip clubs. So let's get Jimmy G all nice and hard before the game.
Treasures before and after the game.
There you go. Loose. Can't go wrong at Treasures, that's for sure.
Wow.
All right, Chris Duke, give us something you're looking at.
Well, since we're on the subject of the Broncos being absolutely disgusting that nobody's going to want, I'll see your Broncos and raise you the fucking Carolina Panthers on the road in Seattle, coming off a huge win
Red Rocket
Lions. I'm kind of digging that. I'm hoping the modern day Monarch is hurt and I get big red freak Dalton here. It's at 6, even though all the tickets are on the Seahawks. They're not budging off 6. I text you guys earlier. This will get me rock hard if it goes down to 5.5. That's RLM if I've ever seen it down to the dead number. I think Freck and I have already talked, and he said it's so gross that we have to do it. Get the Panthers.
I mean, it's almost similar to last week's Seahawk game in Detroit. Like everybody was on Detroit after they kind of. I know I was on Detroit money line in week 1, but they kind of lucked into it. They probably should have lost by double figures, honestly, if one Mr. Tony could have caught one pass. But man, it's crazy. I mean, you're right on these 5.5s and 6s. Like it's more times than not. It's the right side.
Well, how about the
kind of like hitting
spreads?
a 15?
How about the spreads in Seattle in their game? So they're a week 1, 5.5 point home fave, lose outright, then go out on the road, catching 4.5, win outright, and now they're back to laying 6 at home. So that's we always talked about how the right spot is probably somewhere in the middle, right? So Carolina's been bad. They're short week, traveling to Seattle. And I think Chris is right. I think this is going to be a side that is not popular at all. Chris, you think there will be any moneyline parlays with the Seahawks?
Yeah. I think anybody's teased it down to a pick 'em yet, Matt?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So that is a hazmat suit special right there. So Carolina, Seattle, one of only 3 after 3 late window games. People are going to talk about this slate.
So good. Oh, everyone's gonna hammer the Seahawks because if they lost a few of their morning ones, right, Matt? Got to get it back with the.
Chris will parlay all the faves because the other 2 games in that window are the Chiefs and the Bears, and the Cowboys and the Cardinals. So people are just going to parlay the 3 faves in the afternoon, and I mean it truly would be shocking if Arizona or Chicago won. That would be unbelievable. That would completely wreck survivor pools. So we're praying that the unthinkable happens. But certainly, if you're a realist, you would say that Carolina's got the best shot of those 3 to maybe swing an upset.
I mean, if players and survivors are already using up the Cowboys, the Niners, or the Chiefs this early, they deserve to be out. Like you gotta save that. Like you gotta save them for later. Like that's the discussion I'm having right now. It's like, no, man. Like I want to have those guys for later in the season when teams already are out of them, and then they're like forced to take the Jets in week 8, or if they took Baltimore in week 1, like they don't have Baltimore for week 8. Like that's the type of shit like I'm looking forward to, and like hopefully we can get that far. But where it's like, man, like we have an advantage because we took some small risks that paid off.
In my dad's little survivor, it's got like 30 people in it. It's just kind of for fun. How was Washington week 1 losing in the fourth quarter to Arizona? I had that. And then I had the Giants last week. I had Buffs Giants last week, down 20-0 at halftime. Imagine surviving with those 2. Fuck.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing because I was also on those Commanders in week 1, and I told my guy, I was like, no, dude, we're not taking the Giants in week 2. And then when it was 21-0, I was like, see, I told you.
Oh my God, yeah. So Kmart, if that's the case, if you want to save Niners, if you want to save Cowboys, Chiefs, who's safe this week? Who's the play?
That's the scary one. It's like, do we really want to risk it on the Jags -10? Like, I don't. Like, honestly, I want to pull it out. Like, I really want to pull it out and do like the Vikings or something.
Oh, wow.
Even the Jets, where it's just like, somehow they're getting 3, but it's kind of scary. Like, I kind of just want to risk it. Because you could on a spread like that, you can honestly hedge your entry, where it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But then it really sets you up moving forward. Like I feel like this is kind of a hard week, just because
because there's so many free spaces, right?
Yeah. Like I mean, I can see a lot of I feel like a lot of people who are thinking like I am are going to be on Jacksonville, but like what I texted you guys yesterday, it's scary, man. Like how many times you see Houston in these spots beat them outright.
AFC South games, dude.
Yeah,
Those things can get crazy and silly, and you get a tie like you had
uh-huh,
week 1 last year
yeah.
in
Like
a big spread.
even if I had Buffalo, if I didn't use them last week, I wouldn't take them on the road this week.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I really want Seattle at home. Like, maybe like I don't know. I think I'd rather have Bryce Young over the Red Rocket. Like,
Oh, that's
their
blasphemy
backup's
right
better
there.
than their starter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. You mentioned the Jets, and just to go back to ATS real quick, that the two what the fuck games where I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen is the Chargers and the Vikings. I mean, who's going to out clown the other one, right? Staley or Cousins, and then the Jets and the Pats. I mean, Mac Jones versus Zach Wilson with two really good defenses that are going to be all over the other QB. No thanks. I want no part of that. What, Chris? I texted it to you. The Pats have just owned Belichick owns the Jets. This goes back forever. It's unbelievable. I want no part of that game. I have no idea. I know everybody's probably going to tease the dog up through 3-7. Good luck. There'll probably be a defensive touchdown in this game because there will be some silliness. Do either of you have any opinion on that game?
I'll let you go, Chris. I've done a lot of talking.
I mean, I generally agree with you, Matt. It's probably a stay away. I think I lean Patriots just because of the history. I think Zach Wilson's 0-4 straight up and against the spread against Belichick. So not only has it been historical, but it's been recent too against the Mo. So I don't know. I mean, I'd lean. I the more I talk about it, Matt, the more I just want to fucking run away from it. So,
Chris, you don't even know. You started to say, "I think I lean," and then you couldn't even finish your own sentence. That's how.
I'm like,
that's how
and then,
much.
And then I just thought about Mac Jones, like you said. So
he was gonna lean one way, and then he just talked himself out of
pick 6 right now.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's if you're betting on that game, God bless you. You're either a Pats fan or you're somehow a Jets fan still holding out hope. I mean, I will say this: the Jets got embarrassed last week, and their defense got embarrassed by Dallas. So maybe that's something you could look at. Teams off a 20-point or more loss or something like that coming back the next week. They are back at home. I mean, the D's going to be all over Mac.
Like 20 minutes left in the game. I mean, they're only down like 18-10.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Pat's
down.
offense. New England's offense is like, I was on Miami Sunday night. Their offense is so hard to watch. It's so dink and dunk. They can't complete anything downfield.
We thought either. Like he's kind of worse than Najee Harris. Like I think he was good because of Damian Harris. That 1-2 punch. I think people don't realize how critical that is, even for a bruiser like him. Just to, hey, it's my turn. Oh shit, we're already tired. Now we got to face this guy. To where he was getting 12 carries for 100 yards, and now he's getting 12 carries for 12. Like it's the reason why a lot of teams have gone to these 2-3 back systems.
It's just they were painful to watch. I mean, they throw these little screens to Devontae Parker, and he stumbles for 6 yards, and it's like, okay, that's your big. That's your biggest
trying to kill Juju. Like that's what I got. It looked like they were trying to actually explode his knee.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're betting on Mac Jones' favorite on the road in division, wow, that takes some. I want to see those tickets. If anybody's out there on that, oh my God. For mine, I really can't decide who I like more between these two, and I'm kind of going back to my sweet spot, kind of like medium-sized dog on the road. I think Atlanta will be able to run on Detroit, and I think Detroit's got some injuries that are going to hurt them. I mean, I was on the Lions last week, and they shot themselves in the foot with mistake after mistake. Goff throws the pick 6. They go for it on 4th down in midfield a couple times and don't get it. They have another fumble, so turnover after turnover after turnover in Detroit. And their defense was really concerning. They barely touched Geno Smith. So little concern for Detroit. I think the way that Atlanta can control the clock with the running game, and I think Atlanta will be in that game. I know that's sharpened, so people – if anybody got a good number earlier in the week with the Falcons, then you're in great shape. I think this will probably close 3.5 for the contest. So considering the Falcons and also considering the Titans have covered 2 in a row as dogs, they beat the Chargers in overtime last week. I think the way Deshaun Watson is playing against good defenses, the Browns have no business laying points at home as a home favorite over a field goal like that. Tennessee's offense is concerning because I don't think Tannehill's playing very well, and the Browns' D is legit. But I see that being another kind of grinded out game. Again, similar to what I said about the Steelers, I think the Browns were also in a street fight on Monday night in a really physical game. And I mean, Chubb makes that offense go, and he's not there. And I know this other forward is supposed to step in and be their feature back, but you can't replace Nick Chubb. So I'm kind of torn between Atlanta and Tennessee. I think I like both, and I want to see if you guys have thoughts on either side.
I do.
Kmart?
So I'm on the opposite side. I'm on the Brownies.
Wow.
So I booked it -3, but I will not lie. I bought the half because getting that push on Monday Night Football with the Saints made me want to absolutely jump off the balcony. So I said, "Hey, what's another little bit of money? I want to win." So I at least bought the insurance this time. But I mean that's kind of why I'm with the Browns. Like I feel like everybody saw what happened Monday night. Obviously, Chubb, season's clearly over, possibly his career. Think the emotional toll is going to carry over. They're in a physical battle, but like again, like Steelers arguably have a good defense. They put up 450 yards. Speaking of teams that shot themselves in the foot, that was one of them. Good defense gave Pittsburgh fits 250 yards. Tennessee, I've said it for years, they're soft. We like to joke about the Rams. Tennessee is soft. I hate their offense. I love Tajay Spears. That's about all they have going for them. Like I'm praying Derrick Henry's hurt, not for this bet, because I feel like Tajay Spears will give them an actual element that maybe makes their offense exciting instead of, hey, let's hand it off to the 500-pound guy who's lost a step and maybe he'll, get back to 5 yards of carry. No, he's at 3.1 this year, and don't think it's going to change. Like he's not Derrick Henry anymore. He's not. Let's face the fact. He might have 1 game or 2 games this year where he busts off a big run where you're like, hey, Kyle, fuck off. 6 yards of carry in your face. But they're not doing anything with their receivers. It's time to sit Tannehill. It's time to trade him. Give Will Levis a look. You got to see what this team has, because their defense obviously isn't what it was where they were actually good a couple of years ago.
Dude, I don't know. I think their D looks good.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I think they're always going to look good because they have a defensive-minded head coach, but I don't know. Like, I've been against this team for 3 or 4 years now, and they've each year got worse and worse. Like they're not. I mean, they have Treylon Burks. They got an aging DeAndre Hopkins, who's probably a top 5 receiver, honestly. But they don't really have a quarterback that can get on the ball, or an offense that wants to get on the ball. They still want to run it 30 times a game and play smash mouth football, which is fine. I love that football, but I don't think that's the way this team is actually going to win football games.
Okay, so that's a lot on the Titans, but I mean, without Chubb, it's all on Watson now. And in my opinion, Watson looks terrible.
It's just the fade narrative. I mean, what was that line? What was the look ahead? Like 4.5?
I don't care.
Like,
I don't look to
it literally went down to 3, and I was just like, you know what? How many times have we been like, oh yeah, Chubb. Oh, they don't have Chubb. I'm on the Titans, and we lose, and we're like, oh yeah, we. I guess that was dumb. I mean, I get it. Like Chubb makes the offense go, but they brought in Kareem Hunt, which I don't give a shit about. Like they made up their mind in the offseason. They let him walk because they like Jerome Ford to back up Chubb. But now they need insurance on Jerome Ford. $4 million is a lot of insurance, but do what you will. I honestly, personally thought they were fine with Pierre Strong and Ford. I don't know what they're doing, but I like the Browns defense. The game's at home. I think 3 is not enough. Like if it were 5.5, 6, I'd probably stay away. Lean with you on the other side, but once it went down to 3, I fired it Because I mean, even Joe was like, "I like the Titans," and I was like, "Hey, it's down to 3.5 now," and I was just thinking, "Shit, if this goes down to 3, I'm hammering it." And then I did in about the half.
Yeah, I'm curious if it will. If it does, it probably won't be till limits are
Deshaun,
raised later.
oh, I'm reading Chris's comment. Deshaun was somehow good in an offense that had to throw the football. Like I've never been a big fan of his. Like notice how I'd never really talked about Deshaun Watson. Like I'm not whatever. Maybe he uses his feet, but I was even talking last week. He looks like he lost a step too. He can't get around the edge. He doesn't have that explosiveness. Probably because he's not getting that relaxation once a week. But we'll
Chris,
see.
you got an opinion on that one? So it sounds like Kmart and I are on opposite sides. You got an opinion on that one? You probably lean the dog if I know you.
Lean the dog. The only thing that scares me, and Matt, I know we've discussed this, that I'm not as afraid in the NFL of quote unquote public dogs, but I have talked to a few people, even in like some of our group chats with some of the square bettors, and they've said they like the Titans too. I know Josh Applebaum said that it was 4.5, and now it's got bet down. Obviously, we know sharps bet early, not the public, so. It's one of those where I think Simon Hunter and them think that it's going to be one of those public, the sharps and the public are going to be on it. And, that's okay. It's, you just mentioned how good dogs from 3 to 6 have been, and that this fits it. And road dog, like you said, they just played a short week, and I don't know. It's probably, obviously, it's nothing like the Patriots and Jets. Stay away, but I lean stay away for now, unless my Freck wants to put this in. We'll probably leave it out. So
we can finish up with this. Anybody? There's some big ones over 10. We got Dallas laying 12, KC laying 12.5, 13. Are either of these? I mean, these are Chicago is such a mess right now. Have you guys heard this story about their D coordinator?
No.
That he resigned, and everybody's saying the FBI raided his house, and it's like, what the fuck is going on there? So Chicago is in complete disarray.
Yeah. If I had to pick that game, ATS, I would pick the Chiefs.
Are these stayaways though? These huge spreads?
For me, yeah, I usually stay away from these spreads. I don't usually look at them. I love the spreads that you can basically just pick a winner and then get fucked, because the team actually wins by 1.
And Chris, I know you're probably not laying over 10. Any of these? I mean, is there anything on either of these games?
I always lean towards. I've been fading the Chiefs when they've been laying over 7 for a few years now. I even took their under win total last year. I was leaning towards it this year. I know you guys said don't bet against Mahomes in them, but I think he doesn't have a great record when he's laying this many points. Under 3, 4. Oh yeah, he'll win by 6, 7. But do we really see the Chiefs blow people out that much? I mean, it's last year. I think they're pretty dog shit against the spread, laying 8, 9, 10. So lean Bears. Can we not see the Bears losing by like 10 or something like that? But I don't know if it'll get in there.
Lose with dignity.
Yeah, just like they're
too much to ask.
30 to 14, and they score a garbage 30 to 21 final, something like that.
All right. Any final thoughts, dads? We didn't touch on. We got another Monday Night Football doubleheader. We got a nice hot. Chris, I texted you something. Home dog Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday night.
Already booked it +5. It's dead. Book it now, folks. 8% on the Eagles, I heard from Josh Applebaum, but that line's steaming down to 4.5. Give me the home dogs. Baker, believe it or not, 20 of 23 on third down for like 200 and something yards and 3 touchdowns. He's a freak. They've got injuries in the secondary. Maybe he's got Evans and Godwin. He goes to work. He's not turning the ball over. No picks. I don't know. Bake me a cake, Baker. Thanks, Sal Palantonio, for those numbers. I'm going to do it. Home dog, baby. Dead number.
Kmart, anything on Cincy? We don't know if Burrow's going to play. He aggravates the calf. They're favored. They're 0-2. Teams that start 0-3 don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if I were to play that side, it would be Cincy. Like, even if Browning was playing. it's his first start. Like, I mean, he was highly touted, coming into college.
Folsom
Our
High
boy
School.
Kevin Cox said he's going to be the next greatest thing.
Shout out Folsom High in the 916.
Yeah, like I'd honestly love to see him get the opportunity. Obviously, they have the weapons on offense, but their offensive line isn't very good, and that could pose a problem with Aaron Donald. So, I mean, I know the Niners put up 30 on that defense last week, but I think the Niners are a video game, and you just can't. If that team stays healthy, like I don't know how they don't score 30 a game. But yeah, I mean, I really want to get to the table on the Bengals, but I just don't. I just don't think I can get there. Like I'd love to take this -2 and somehow Burrow plays, but with that unknown, like I can't, because I just don't know if I can trust Browning the same way I can't trust Zach Wilson.
All right. Well, speaking of those 49ers, I definitely have some thoughts on their game tomorrow night. So we'll get to that on our spaces on Thursday at 5 p.m., 15, 20 minutes before Thursday night football kicks off on what channel, Chris?
Amazon, not sure how many bars have it, Prime.
There it is. All right, moms and dads, good luck on your week 3 bets. Stay tuned for more content from Fade You. 4 Idiots may be recording tomorrow. We'll see. We'll tweet out when that's happening. And Chris, just remind everybody what happens sometimes when you bet on poop.
1-5 last week. Central Michigan Chippewas came through, catching 34. Lose by 27. There you go. Sometimes they cover the big number.
Happy birthday, Kmart.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm never taking a shot again. This was a disaster.